A very good afternoon everyone. I really hope you all doing great and staying absolutely safe as well. उम्मीद करता हूँ आप सब बहुत शानदार होंगे बेटे और IAS Origin के इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे मैं आप सबका तहे दिल से स्वागत करना चाहता हूँ. That's your mentor Akash Randev. Hello Bunty, aspirant Sriram, all the people out there would like to welcome you all to this session. A very amazing session. Why? Because it's going to be very much exam oriented session. बहुत ज़्यादा exam oriented इस session को रखा जाएगा and I'll try to make sure that we discuss all the revolts which are important from the examination point of view, because at times you will realize that a kind of a topic which is super important from the examination point of view. It's very much important and that's why in the first place we are discussing this very topic. So please do let me know if I am clearly audible to you guys. I hope मेरी आवाज आप सब तक clearly पहुंच पा रही है. All the people. चलो, very good morning जी. ठीक है, good afternoon of course. Now, having said that, the very first thing is that what all are the kind of the questions which can be framed from the topic. This is very much important that from this very topic, how exactly do you need to prepare so that you are able to answer the questions? First of all, you need to focus upon a very important aspect. Any revolt for that matter, it is important for you to know the time period of the revolt. Time period of the, now what is the time period thing? क्या है time period? When I say the time period basically mean that when it took place, when did it occur? That's very much important, right? So time period you have to firstly focus upon. Second thing is you got to understand who was leading that, who was the leader of that particular revolt. Third thing which you need to know is the region in which it took place. So what all are we supposed to decode bete? First is time period, that is when. The when has to be answered. Kab hua. Second thing is region, that is where it took place. Kahan hua. And third thing is leader, that is who led it. I hope I am making myself very much clear. ये topic आपने पहले भी पढ़ा होगा, but the way we are going to read it today, it's going to be something different experience for you. I can assure you that. मेरा ये आपसे वादा है कि आज हम जैसे इसको पढ़ने वाले हैं वैसे आपने इसको नहीं पढ़ा होगा. And please do let me know the mode of communication. So what is the preferred? Can we keep it bilingual or English या हिंदी? कैसा आप चाहते हैं? We can certainly go about it. I hope the idea is absolutely clear bete. Everything is absolutely clear. Whatever we have discussed till now, I hope you are able to understand this aspect. So again, I'm repeating the point that what all is there to be understood when a particular revolt is taking place, where a revolt is taking place, and who is leading that. That is, who is the leader. Got it? Now, having said that, what is more important is let's try to figure that out as well. ये तो basic चीज है, clear हो गई है. Okay, we'll keep it in English only. Don't worry about that. We are going to keep that in English. Not an issue. That's why I first of all asked so that I get to know that what is the preferred mode of communication which you would be expecting me to do. And see, I'll tell you something, why it took place, of course, is important, no doubt, that why a revolt is taking place, but generally, reasons were more or less the same, exploitation, and exploitation. That used to be the reason. So, of course, we can certainly, talk about that why thing as well, but more or less the reasons are same. And in a way, I can assure you, in the examination, they are more focused on the leaders or the time period, because on, time period based chronology questions are asked. So when I talk about the chronology based questions, ascending order, descending order, so that is also important, right? I hope it's clear. So you will find plenty of questions which are based on the chronological details. So examiner is expecting you to know that when a particular revolt is taking place and which one took place earlier and which one took place later, that is something exactly, you need to be knowing. So my idea is very much simple, that you have to be very much well versed with the kind of the information which is important from clearing the examination point of view. Before I even move ahead, what I would request you to do is make sure you all are subscribing to the channel bete. Channel ko subscribe zarur kar le, so that you can get all the details ultimately which are important from examination point of view. You can have a better idea. So इसको सब्सक्राइब कर ले, do subscribe to the channel. This is going to be super important for you guys. चलिए, I hope the idea is now very much clear, you know, how exactly we are going to be, you know, going about things. I hope that point is clear. Every day at 12 p.m., right sharp 12 p.m., you will be finding super important session from the examination point of view. I can assure you that. From examination point of view, you're going to have super important session. Now that is totally up to you. You want to attend them or you don't want to attend them, that is purely your choice. But I can assure you that every day you will be finding these sessions on this very platform of IAS Origin. So make sure you are here every single, you know, day, so that you are taking full advantage of these. Is that clear? I hope I'm making myself very much clear in this regard. Okay. So having said that, let's certainly start the session now. So we'll be talking about, you know, plenty of revolts, various revolts we'll be talking about, and I'll be focusing on these aspects only. What we have talked about as of now, this is what we are going to be talking about. What are the aspects? That where a particular revolt is taking place, who is leading that, why it is taking place, and when it is taking place, that is what we are going to be studying. That is what we are going to be focusing. I would request you guys to do one thing. Keep your pen and paper ready. A4 sheet, notebook, anything would do. Please keep that ready. Running notes are always very much useful. If you are able to make that, ये बहुत important है. Got it? But it is on weekends, certainly, you know, Monday to Friday as of now we are holding. But if I find the participation is good, then I'll be doing on weekends also. On weekends we can plan some marathons and all. So there are a lot of things lined up for you. Don't worry about that. Thank you Chandan so much. So ultimately you have to understand one thing, that whatever we are studying, it is going to be very much examination oriented. Exam oriented things we are studying, so I'll make that thing very much clear. And I want no nuisance in the class. Let's be very much exam focused in the class today, because that is the only thing which is going to help you in clearing this tough examination. This is a tough examination, no doubt, but this is very much approachable. Matlab, you can very much clear that with the right approach. Okay, are we all set? Okay, hi Virappan, how are you? Okay, so I think we are all set for the class. All the people out there, how's the Josh, everyone? Chali, that's good. Perfect. Let's start it. Let's now start the very class today. Before I start the class, I have a beautiful question for you. Are you up for that? My question to you guys is that Dash is a novel. You have to fill in the blank. Dash is a novel by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, which is based on a very important revolt, that is Sanyasi revolt. Sanyasi revolt, Fakir uprising, whatever you may call it. So it's a beautiful novel. It's a very insightful novel. So if you can tell me that, everyone. Okay. Yes, you can watch it later. Not an issue with it. Not at all an issue. But I would request you guys to be, you know, watching it live, because that is the only way in which you're going to take maximum out of it. So that's totally up to you. Please try to answer this. Shabash. Okay, thank you so much. So let's answer this one. Let's answer this question. Then of course we are going to be moving to the revolt. Very good. So I have got my answer, and the answer is Anand Math. Shabash. Anand Math is a novel written back in around 1880s mein. And this novel basically, which has been written by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, it talks about the Sanyasi revolt. It talks about Sanyasi revolt. That's great. Now, why I'm talking about this novel? Just imagine a particular revolt on which the novel has been written. Don't you think that revolt will be important? That definitely is important. If on a particular revolt, a novel has been written, that revolt is certainly very much important. As simple as that. So this is the reason why I have started my topic. I've started my class with this novel only, because this Sanyasi revolt is definitely important, and we have to have a basic clarity on this. Getting it? I would request everyone, you know, to add this video to your liked videos. Add this video to your liked videos by liking the session, so that later on you can use it for the revision purpose. It is just for your sake, you know, your benefit only, that later on you can use this video for the revision purpose. नहीं तो आपको मिलेगी नहीं, you know, you may end up not finding the video when you need it the most. So that's why make sure you add it in your liked videos, everyone. Got it? Okay. Moving ahead. Now, but I'm sticking to the English only, don't worry. This class is basically based in English only, so you don't have to worry in that regards. Got it? So I can see a lot of students have already joined us, but only few have liked the session. So make sure you all are hitting the like button, so that it is added to your liked videos. Okay. Now, anyways, Anand Math is a beautiful novel. So you got to understand this thing, that Sanyasi revolt was very much important revolt. and this took place in the 18th century. In the 18th century, eastern part of India, basically in Bengal, we saw this revolt taking place, so which is very much important. What is this? Sanyasi revolt I am talking about. I hope it's clear. So you have to understand this thing, that whenever I am talking about this revolt, this is a very important revolt. That is something which is absolutely clear. And second thing is that we have to know the basics of it. So see, when I talk about the reasons, mainly reasons, when we talk about reason was the famine. You know famine? Shortage of food, extreme shortage of food, that is the famine thing. So when will famine take place? Famine is going to take place when we have a condition in which the food is basically not available for the people. Unfortunate event this is. And when the food is not available, what will happen? Some people will even die because of the dire shortage of the food. That is a very sad thing. I hope you're understanding the fact. So overall, you got to be understanding this thing, that dire shortage of the food is basically the famine. And people were not happy with the British, they were ruling over India. And the rule was certainly not that good. It was an exploitative rule. So you have to understand this thing, that not only the famine, but also the British exploitation. And where did British enter India? Eastern part of India. So British are doing the exploitation of Indian resources, Indian wealth. And this is the main reason why we are seeing in the first place, we have got the Sanyasi revolt taking place, Sanyasi rebellion basically. So you first of all need to understand that this is the same Fakir uprising as you must have heard about or you must have studied at some point in time. It is one of the same things, so don't get confused in that regards. Wahan pe you are not supposed to get confused because they are both one and the same thing. Got it? Fakir, Sanyasi. So who are these people? Fakir, Sanyasi, they have left their homes. They are basically roaming from one place to another. These are the people basically. So you have to understand this thing. So it's one and the same thing. You can call it Fakir uprising, Sanyasi rebellion. Now, understand this thing, various peasants, various farmers, they were evicted from the lands. And basically, we are seeing that they are now facing a lot of problems because of the British. So what is happening? They are raiding companies' factories, various godowns, treasuries, and they're fighting the company's forces. Now, which company forces we are talking about? East India Company. In India, East India Company was a power at that point in time. So basically, this is a revolt against the British East India Company without any doubt. I hope it's clear. So no doubt British were able to subdue this. No doubt British were able to contain this, but it was a very important revolt in the eastern part of India, basically Bengal, by the Sannyasis, and this was during the second half of 18th century. 18th century, I've already told you this thing, that in the 18th century this is taking place. So you have to understand this thing, 1770s, 1780s, 1790s, 1800, we are seeing this revolt which is taking place at a big scale, at a massive scale it is taking place. We have to be understanding this point. समझ आ रहा है बेटे इतना? I hope you are understanding, what I'm trying to explain you. That is very much important. Simple and straightforward point this is. Thank you, Kumar. Thank you so much. Now, the next question which comes to my mind is that, okay, it took place there. But who are the leaders? That's the biggest question. Who precisely are the leaders? Now, that is an important point because at this time, participation by a women was not a common thing. But in this very revolt, we are seeing the participation by the women is also taking place, which makes this even more special. Ye aap yaad rakhein. Participation by the women is something which makes this even more special, which we have to understand. So any ideas, any guesses regarding that? Who is that women who is participating here? हाँ जी बताओ भाई क्या लगता है? Do we have any women who is participating? It is Devi Chaudhrani. So whenever I talk about the leaders of this particular revolt, we have got, of course, we have got Manjum Shah, Chirag Ali, Musa Shah, but the most important leader which you have to be knowing is Devi Chaudhrani. So this is something you have to always remember, that Devi Chaudhrani is the most important leader of Sanyasi rebellion. And at times this question is being asked. In examination, you will be asked this very question, and this is very, very important. Remember this thing. बहुत important ये चीज है which you have to be knowing precisely. Clear? So having said that, so Devi Chaudhrani participation is doing what? It is recognizing the women's role in early resistance against the British. And that is what makes this revolt very much special. That's one thing. And secondly, you got to understand that Anandmat is a novel which has been written on this, so this further makes it special. Anandmat has been written by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. I've already told you right in the beginning of this revolt, so that makes it even more special. I hope I'm making some sense out of it. In fact, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay was so obsessed with this revolt that he also wrote a novel known as Devi Chaudrani. So basically, two novels are being written on this. One is Devi Chaudrani and one is Anandmat. So both novels have been written by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. Is that clear, everyone? So, matlab yahan pe all these aspects which we are talking about, they are important, of course, and direct questions will be asked. Right in the beginning, I told you what you have to focus upon. So you have to focus upon these things only. Who's the leader, where it's taking place, when it's taking place, why it's taking place. We have talked about all these things. Precisely, that is what is required. Simple point hai ji. Got it? Koi doubt to nahi hai? I think it's absolutely clear, bete. Moving ahead. Now, we talk about one more revolt, which is again important. That is known as Chuar uprising. What it is? Chuar uprising. Now, when I talk about this uprising, remember, the Chuars were prominent in the Manbhum and Badabhum area, basically eastern part of India. We see that they are active. You know, Bengal area and the nearby area, they are very much active. Chuar is basically a group over there. So now, having said that, you know, if they are living over there, of course, because of the British policies, they are facing a lot of problems. See, all these problems are because of what? British policies, you know, British ill-conceived policies. Without any planning, they are bringing a lot of policies, and that's why people are facing a lot of problems. Because if the policies were thought upon before bringing them, then there would have been no problem. But because British are not even thinking twice before bringing the policies, that is what is making it very much tough. Getting it? Now, having said that, remember, you know, famines were there, land revenue was increasing, all these things are there, and that is the reason why in this very part, the Chuars are also taking up the arms against the British. As simple as that. When it is taking place again, it's in 18th century. We are seeing Chuars are coming up and this uprising is taking place, but you have to have a basic idea that Chuar uprising is very much important. Chuar uprising is certainly very, very important. We have to be understanding precisely. Clear? So I don't think now you will be having any doubt for that matter. I think this aspect is absolutely very much clear. Okay? And these are very basic things we are talking about. These are very basic things which we are talking about. Chalo. Clear? Let's move ahead then. Now the next one, before we move to the next one, who is the leader over here? That's very much important, right? Any guesses on the leader? Chuar uprising mein leader is important. So yaad rakhna, we have a leader known as Durjan Singh or Durjol Singh. That's one and the same thing. So Durjol Singh is leading this particular revolt. Yes, certainly. Absolutely, Nasir. I'll certainly let you know towards the end. You can get the PDF, no issues. Have you joined the Telegram channel? So I'll certainly provide that on the Telegram channel. And from the next class, I'll give you the detail of the Telegram channel also, IAS Origin. So you can join that and certainly you can get it there. So remember that when we talk about the Durjan Singh, who was a Zamindar itself, first of all, and then he was supported by Madhav Singh and then of course Raja Mohan Singh. But mainly we have Durjol Singh or Durjan Singh, that's one and the same thing. He is the leader of this particular revolt. That's how we look at it. Is that clear? So I hope you guys are understanding, how do we approach this particular topic. This is of course of immense importance. Approaching it is very much important in a right manner, in a right way possible. So moving ahead, now let's move ahead of this. We talk about Velu Thampi revolt. We talk about the revolt of Velu Thampi. Now what it is, let's talk about this. Just hold on. Velu Thampi. When I say Velu Thampi, who is Velu Thampi? This is very much important. First of all, let's decode that. Hack on Velu Thampi. Who is Velu Thampi? This person, Velu Thampi, from present day Kerala. At that time, it was known as Travancore. You know, Travancore. So you have to understand one thing, that who is Velu Thampi? Velu Thampi is Diwan of the state of Travancore. So in any state, you will have a ruler, king, and you will also have what? Other than ruler, you are bound to have someone who is known as Diwan, who is assisting the ruler. So this person is the Diwan of the state of Travancore. State of the Travancore, Diwan is Velu Thampi, Diwan, like a prime minister. And then we also have a king. So the king was signing some treaties with the British. King was signing some sort of treaties with the British. Now what is treaty? Sandhi sign karna. And at the same time, you got to understand that this person was not liking that, because in a way that state was going in the hands of the British, which was a very negative thing for the state. So you got to understand this point, that what is happening over here is very much interesting. Getting it? What is happening here is very much interesting, that Velu Thampi is raising his voice against the British. Despite of being in a good position, he was a Diwan, but still he is raising his voice against the British, which is certainly very much important. Are you understanding the point or not? So idea is very, very clear, which we have to look into. Jashwa, Vinayak, Chandan, thank you for the trophies. Okay, Raju, thank you ji. Okay, for your so much love and support. I appreciate it. And if possible, do share the session with your friends also, so that they should be in a position to take advantage of this. ठीक है, अपने friends के साथ इसको share जरूर कर देना, so that they should know, you know, this particular session exists, and you know this is an important one. Moving ahead, thank you for the Josh. I can see in the comment section the Josh is very much full. Thank you, Vinayak Oja. Okay, thank you so much. So anyways, so what I'm trying to tell you is that what is happening in Travancore at that point in time, please try to understand that East India Company is imposing harsh condition on Travancore, and he is the Diwan of the state, Diwan Velu Thampi. He is not happy with that. Ruler Verma is not able to pay any, you know, payments to the British, and this is becoming a bit of a problem. So at this point in time, what we are seeing, that this person Velu Thampi is raising against the British. Very important this is. Velu Thampi, hanji, okay, thank you so much. Velu Thampi is raising his voice against the British. So why is Velu Thampi raising his voice? Now you know. That ruler, now who is the ruler? It is Balram Verma. He is the Maharaja of Travancore. Who is the Diwan? It is Velu Thampi. So unfortunately, Velu Thampi in the last had to kill himself to avoid the capture. But he was brave enough to raise his voice against the British, even though he was in a very comfortable state. See, he was very much comfortable, na? Well, he was not facing any problem as such. He was in a comfortable state. He was a Diwan. So he was not that he was peasant and he was not able to pay the taxes. No, nothing like that. So this proves that there are some people who are so much selfless. Velu Thampi was one of a selfless, person, I would say, and people don't know about him, which is quite sad. These are the heroes which need to be revered. These are the heroes which need to be remembered from time to time. This is what I feel. I hope you understand. Let's move ahead then. Okay. Moving ahead, I would like to talk about a very important revolt now. Again, people don't know about this revolt also, but it is important. It is known as Paika Bidroha. Paika Bidroha. Yeah. Paik Bidroh. And when it took place, it was back in 1817. Recently in 2017, we celebrated 200 years completion of this. Where did it take place? It took place in Odisha. You know, state of Odisha. So now 3 questions are answered. What is the name? When it took place? Where it took place? This answer is very much clear. Very good. See, we are reading in a very systematic manner, not a haphazard manner we're reading, right? Now, here's a leader. You can see this is a Government of India coin which was released in 2017. This leader, what is his name? His name is Bakshi Jagbandhu. Bakshi Jagbandhu is his name. Very interesting. So, it was Bakshi Jagbandhu who is raising voice against the British back in 1817 in Odisha, And this revolt is known as Paika Bidroha. Bidroha means revolt, uprising. Raising voice against something bad is basically Bidroh. So ultimately, let me tell you one thing, these are very simple aspects. These are very basic aspects that we need to understand. So, and this is the time, when British were, increasing their influence in the Odisha, and that is why they are raising against the British. Simple. Why will they raise their voice? Because British are increasing their influence in the state of Odisha, and this is something we have to look into. So you can see this coin also. It is written bicentenary of Paika Bidroha. Can you see that? So back in 2017 we released this coin because in 1870 to 2017 it is 200 years. So since recently we have celebrated 200 years, so that is important. You will not find this in any book. You are not going to find this as any book. I can assure you this thing. But this is important and examiner will not think twice before asking this question. I can assure you. And this is why this is certainly, very much important. Thank you, Raju. Thank you, Vinayak. Thank you so much. Thank you, Navy. Okay, your support means a lot. And make sure, you all are hitting the like button so that this video is added in your liked videos. And later on also you can watch this video आराम से. ये video आपकी liked videos में जब add हो जाएगी, you can watch it later on as well. Yes, this person is Bakshi. No, this topic is not about the coin, it's about the Vidroha, it's about the revolt. Paika revolt, Paika Vidroha. It is Paika revolt only, na? Paika revolt. Revolt is known as Vidroha. One same thing. So remember this thing, that Paikas, this particular group of Paikas, under the leadership of Bakshi Jagbandhu, okay? So they earlier used to work under the Gajpati king, and they are rising in 1817 against the British. This is very much important. They are attacking British symbols. They are, attacking police stations, administrative offices in Odisha, Khurda area of Odisha. This is why it is so much important. But Paikas is a group which is living in Odisha at that point in time. Paikas. So basically they used to work for the Gajpati king earlier. But now since Odisha was under the control of the British, so they are not able to work under whom? Gajpati king. And that is why they are very much unhappy, and that is why they are rising against British under the leadership of whom? Bakshi Jagbandhu. I hope I have made myself very much clear now. Clear hai ji? Easy? Okay. So shall we move to the next one then? Are we all ready to move to the next one? So I can assure you, reading these revolts will help you a lot in the exam, because a lot of questions are asked directly from this topic. A lot of questions. So it's a very important topic without any doubt. Shall we move ahead? So, Hanji. So I hope you guys are, not getting bored of the class. Acha, enjoying the class, Raju. Chalo, that's great. That's great. It gives me great relief. Okay. Chalo, आगे बढ़ते हैं. My question to you guys is, please answer this question. Ahom revolt is a very prominent revolt, famous revolt, which took place in 1820s, decade of 1820s. Where did it take place? Any guesses? This is an easy one, no? From the name Ahom, what do you recall? Which state comes to your mind? Ahom means Assam. Ahom, Assam. So it took place in the state of Assam. 1820s, it took place in the state of Assam. Now that's very much interesting that, how it is taking place, who is the leader, a lot of questions. So again, as you are told to think where it took place, Assam. When it took place, 1820s. Now my question is, leader kaun the? So who are the leaders? Who is leading this revolt? That's the next question which we have in our mind. Who is the leader of this revolt? That's the question. Got it? Chalo, I'm glad a lot of people are giving the right answer. Fazul, Jaswa, Sumi, then we got Arya. Great. So having said that, you got to understand that we'll talk about the leaders, but firstly it's important to know that why it took place. Why it took place in the first place. That's important, right? Of course, it will be taking place against the British, but why it's taking place? That's important. Okay, Mufasa. I've had this privilege of teaching in Assam. That was back in 2018, 2019. So I used to teach in Guwahati. There's a government institution known as it's not teaching institution. It's basically a college. It's called Assam Administrative Staff College. You know, so AASC, Khanapara. So I used to take classes, and a lot of my students are a part of prestigious Assam Administrative Services. So yeah. So for those who are from Assam, they must be knowing about AASC, Assam Administrative Staff College, Mufasa. Chalo. So a lot of students are posting it, as SDMs in various districts of Assam. Some of them are in other departments also. Anyways, chale, moving ahead. So firstly, you got to understand that why it is taking place in the first place. Initially, British government pledged or promised to withdraw from the Assam after the first Burma War. 1824-1826 was the first Burma War. So, no, Sukhafa is different. Please focus here. We'll talk about the Gomda Convert, don't worry. So, initially, British promised that we are going to retreat back. We are going to retreat back. This is quite important. So, because if you see the map, you got to understand this thing, that I'm just making a map, rough map. Here, if you want to go to Burma, you will be crossing through Assam. Okay, so if this is Assam, British were crossing through Assam to Burma. And ultimately, what is more important? Ultimately, one thing which you have to be understanding is very much important. And you have to be very clear in this regards. ये बहुत important है. ये आप ध्यान में रखना. You have to be very much clear in this regards, Pete, that British did not fulfill their promise and they did not retreat back from the Assam. In fact, British attempted to increase the Ahom territories into their domain, and this is the reason of the revolt. समझ आया? You got it or not? So initially British are promising what? British are promising that we are going to retreat back. But British are not retreating back at all, and this is what is the cause of this particular revolt which you have to be looking at. So now question is that, okay, now you know the reason, but why? That why is very much clear. But now the next question which comes to my mind is that who are the leaders? So let me tell you one thing. When we talk about this particular revolt, we have got some very prominent leaders who are considered heroes in Assam, and these leaders are Dhanjoy Bongohan, Jairam Khagaria Phukan. Very important these are. So you have to understand this thing, that on top of that, the main leadership was provided by the Gomdhar Konwar back in 1828. This is very, very important leader. Burma is Myanmar only. Burma is Myanmar. Ji. Hua clear? So I'm hopeful that things are amply clear to you guys, which is of course very much important. Chalo. So you can see, how important these revolts are. But this very topic, I hope you know the importance of this topic. It is very important. Okay. So you got it? Burma is Myanmar only. So finally, what is more important is the company, East India Company, they decided to follow conciliatory policy, and they handed over the Upper Assam to Maharaja Purandar Singh. And ultimately, this is something which is of immense importance. This is something which is of immense importance. Tomorrow also 12 p.m. you will come. Everyone, let me tell you one thing, bete. Do subscribe to the channel first of all, and 12 p.m. fix the time in your alarm clock. 12 p.m. live session. You are going to have super important topics for your UPSC preparation or state PCS preparation every day, Monday to Friday. So 12 p.m. tomorrow also will have a very nice topic, landforms I'll be covering. So tomorrow make sure you come. What is revolt? Revolt means raising your voice against something. If there is British, so raising your voice against the British is a revolt against them. Got it? That is what revolt is. Yeah? Revolt, vidro. In Hindi we say vidro. So you are not happy with something, you raise your voice against that particular thing, that is revolt. As simple as that. Chalo. Maza aa raha hai sabko? I hope just now it's clear. Moving ahead, now I'll talk about the Kuka. We will be talking about the Kuka movement. So anyone who will tell me Kuka movement in which state? Kuka movement took place in which state? That's my question. Think about it. Kuka. So this can be a important question for you guys. So think about it. So it was basically 1871, 1872, and it took place in Punjab, present day Punjab. Punjab mein, so when it is taking place, where it is taking place, that is clear. We'll talk about the leaders, we'll talk about the reasons, of course, but I hope this basic idea is clear. So Kuka as a sect, it was founded initially and then it became a proper movement. But you have to know this thing that we have two very important leaders. One is Bhagat Jawahar Mal, and the main leader I would say is Baba Ram Singh. Remember, Baba Ram Singh is a very important leader. Note that. So now this idea is very much clear to you guys. These are the leaders. This is basically the time period. This is the location. Clear? No, it is not related to Kuki tribe. No, not Kuki tribe. So there was a sect. Kuka is a sect. Now, important thing is that you have to understand, if I talk about the reasoning part, what happened in 1840s? In 1840s, we have Anglo-Sikh wars. We have Anglo-Sikh wars. And these Anglo-Sikh wars are doing what? Punjab is going under the British rule. We know this thing. Punjab is going under the British rule. Everybody is aware of this fact. Punjab kahan ja raha hai? British rule. So when Punjab is going under the British rule, we got to be very clear in this regards that there was a feeling of discontent against the British, of course, in Punjab, like in other states. So because in 1840s, Punjab was totally occupied by the British because of two Anglo-Sikh wars. So in Punjab only, we are seeing later on, this Kuka movement is taking place. These are the leaders which we know, and they are basically leading the revolt. I'll talk about how they used to focus. So the best part is about these leaders, they are also focusing on the social evils. Now, what is social evils? Social evils means there are a lot of negative things going on in the society. Dowry system is there, drugs are there, and they are also raising their voice against that. So this is something which makes it very much special. Remember. So this very thing is making it very much special. So you have to understand this thing, that when we talk about the Kuka movement, so initially it was founded in 1840s, but in 1871, 1872, we are seeing they are basically raising their voice against the British, as I've already told you. So initially it was founded, but in 1871, 72, they are raising their voice against the British. These are the leaders I've told you. They want to abolish the caste. There was a lot of discrimination in the society. They want to end that as well. So basically alcohol, drugs, widow remarriage, they're focusing on a lot of societal things. On top of that, Kuka wanted to remove British and they wanted to restore Sikh rule over the Punjab. They advocated for hand-woven clothes, boycott of the British English laws, and this movement gained a lot of popularity, but it was later on crushed by the British. It was later on crushed by the British. I hope it's absolutely clear. Got it or not? So now you know what it is all about. What is this particular thing all about? So this is quite important. That's why we are talking about it. So my idea is very much clear that we have to have a basic level of understanding on these things. That is the only way in which you are going to have a proper clarity and idea. Chalo ji. Interesting. So I hope you are finding this very much interesting as per the examination point of view is concerned. Next, I would like to talk about a group that is Pagal Panthis. Remember, this is very much important. Just hold on. When I say Pagal Panthis. So you have to have a basic idea about them as well. Just hold on. Now it's better. So remember, we are going to be talking about the Pagal Panthis. Remember, clear? So it's what? It's a semi-religious group. It's very much active in Hajong area basically. So if you talk about the present day, you know Meghalaya area, there at that very area, Meghalaya, they are very much active. We saw a person known as Karam Shah. Later on, his son was Tipu Shah. They are the one who are the leaders. Around 1820s, 1830s, they are very much active. So now I'm highlighting what is very much important over here. Please remember, who are the leaders? Initially it is Karam Shah, later on his son Tipu Shah. From 1820s, 1830s, they're active. They're active in the area of Meghalaya. The name is Pagal Panthis. And of course, they are raising their voice against the Zamindars, against the British for the land revenue, which was very much high. So they are basically not happy with that, and that is why they are raising their voice against the British. I hope it's clear. समझ आया कि नहीं आया? So my point, I hope you are able to understand, and this is something which is important, right? So when it took place, who is leading, where it took place, everything is absolutely clear. So remember the leaders, you know, you will find direct questions on the leaders. Direct question जो है वो किस पे आते हैं? Leaders पे आते हैं. Remember this thing very much carefully. Chalo. Thank you Vinayak, thank you Navy. So you all are, I hope nobody is getting bored, because now you know that this session is important. No beating around the bush, this is important. Yes. But ultimately, you have to understand this thing, that when we talk about the British education was a Western education, but there were some people who wanted a blend of both. British and the education was prevalent in India as well. So a lot of people are advocating the best of both. This is what we look at. Now I would like to talk about a movement, that is Faraizi movement. You know, Eastern Bengal, present day Bangladesh, they are active. Haji Sharatullah is the leader. Of course, his son Dadu Miah was also very much active. And this is basically the 19th century, you know, 1890s to 1860s, they are very much active, and they are aiming to expel the English from the Bengal. What is the main idea? English have to be expelled from Bengal. So at times the question comes ki Faraizi movement was led by whom? So it was Haji Sharatullah, that person. Haji Sharatullah is leading that. Later on his son Dadu Miah is leading that. And where it is taking place? East Bengal, that is present day Bangladesh. And you have to have a basic idea about this. That's it. So I'm hopeful that, I have made things very much clear for you guys. Everything is crystal clear to you guys, you know. That is the main aspect. That's the main idea which we have. I will certainly be, bringing the second part of it. हम लोग second part में इसका करेंगे in a lot of detail, of course. But as of now, I feel कि what we have studied till now, you got to study, you got to revise that, and then of course we'll be moving ahead. Clear है जी? Sorted? Chalo. Thank you so very much. And I am hopeful that, whatever we have studied till now, you will be revising that precisely. Revision is important. So revise these things, and we'll be doing, Munda hai, Santhals, Deccan Rights, all these things. But a year as such is not very precise. You can say 1820s to 1860s it is there. So not always year will be precise, because they were prolonged struggles. So tomorrow 12 p.m. we have to be meeting, of course. 12 p.m. tomorrow live. So I can assure you that the time you invest in this class is going to reap a lot of benefits in the exam. That's true for everyone out there. Do subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet, because I hope that you are, going to turn up to the session once again. And do hit the like button if you have not liked the session yet, so that it adds to your liked videos. And we'll be meeting live 12 p.m. tomorrow as well. Every day live 12 p.m. weekdays mein. So that's it from my side. That's me, Akash Randev, signing off. Keep the josh high, keep studying, keep revising things which we have studied till now. Have a great day. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.